Hi campers, and welcome to another special video for Halloween Maker Camp. I'm Paloma Fotley, the camp director, and I'm joined with Jason Babler, the creative director, and my partner in crime around the offices.
I suffer her abuses.
Quite often. Scott. Those just look like wrinkles on you. It's great.
It's true.
So today we've got some really awesome guests that I'm very excited to talk to. We've got Claire DeLise from, she's a YouTube beauty guru, and we cannot wait to talk to her. We've got Joseph Rose, who's got some great stuff in store for us. And we've got Dax Tran Cafe, and he's got some puppets, and we're going to talk to him about some really great fabrication techniques. And then we've got some people in, well, we've got a person in from the Stan Winston School who's going to show us a really cool slideshow. Yeah. And so without spending a lot of time, we're just going to jump right in because we have got so much awesome content today. So as you can see, I did another ridiculous look for today's Maker Faire. This one I spent a little time putting together, and I wanted to talk to you guys today because on Google+...
Who are you?
Oh, well...
Who are you wearing today?
Who am I wearing? Well, this is a Lichtenstein-style comic book art look. So you've got all the dots showing the depth and spatial stuff, and then it kind of looks like I'm a cartoon character, and I've been freaking everyone out around the office.
Yeah, the artist is Roy Lichtenstein. He was a pop artist back in, what, 60s? Sure. I've got one of his books. So I'm smart. I'm smart.
You're a helper. So I wanted to talk to you guys about how I plan these looks out because on Google+ this week, Abigail was talking to me about how I come up with my looks and how I plan them out. So I wanted to tell you about face charts. So what that is you have a basic drawing of a face, and on that you kind of plan out how you want everything to look. So you can use pencils, colored pencils, things like that. This one, I don't know, it's a little light for camera, but you can see that's my face. And I'll post the link to where you can go online and do this once we're done with the Hangout. And so for this look, I just did a quick face chart where I drew my face and how I was going to do all the lines. And it really helped me kind of as a plan for how I wanted to do everything. This one was last week's face chart. You can see this is a generic one you can get online. It's a Mac face chart. And then you can see when you go up there that there's all of those lines that I did for the pumpkin last week. So I'll post links to where you can get those online after we're done with the Hangout. And I would absolutely love it if you guys would make some face charts and show me, you know, what you, I mean, you could use them like a coloring book, but I think it'd be great to see what you guys can come up with.
I just use a cue ball, so it's easy for me.
Yeah, you just pick up a pool ball and just draw.
Just draw.
That's what I did for Jason's face chart today, so I don't have it with me.
This is, again, one of Paloma's works of art. We have done a couple of videos on how to do really easy makeup effects, and I got clawed today by a werewolf, I think. So.
Yeah, this is a really simple application. I talk about how to do one like this on YouTube, and it's got it's just scar wax, just cut into that, some eyeshadow, and then Vaseline mixed with the pigment to give you that fresh blood look. So if you want to see how to do that one, there's a great video on the YouTube page that talks about exactly this technique, and we have some others that go a little bit farther for those of you just getting started with doing makeup. And then for those of you who want to take it a little bit further, we have Claire with us today. Hi, Claire.
Hi.
And so tell us a little bit about what you do on YouTube.
I do special effects makeup, but not the pretty kind. Sometimes I do pretty makeup, but it doesn't tend to be that pretty because I don't like it being too pretty, quite frankly. I find it very boring.
What's your YouTube channel?
Sorry?
What's your YouTube channel?
There's two of them. There's Claire DeLise Art, but it's Claire with a K, not a C. Everyone always gets that wrong and it drives me mad. Claire DeLise Art is my makeup channel, and then I have ClaireDeLise.com, which is my DIY channel. So on that I show how to turn jars into like a Kraken jar. So you put all these tentacles all over it, and you can't really see it very well at the moment. There's all this texture that you can't really see it. But so on my second channel I do DIYs for that and kind of making props out of basic things that would otherwise go in the bin. And then on my main channel I do things that are a little bit like, this is one of the looks I did for the 7 Deadly Sins, and I don't know if you can see it, but that's the one I did for Greed.
Wow.
Fantastic.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and they were fun because you got to be really gory. I mean, Wrath was obviously going to be gory, but the next series I want to do is one on the 4 Horsemen, which I've only done the face charts of, so they're a bit basic. But this was just a kind of doodle I did for Death.
That's a really different take on it. Not the typical gruesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the idea I had is that Conquest, I want it to be, I kind of based it on politicians, I guess. It's very ornate, they've got nothing to lose, they're all like, let's go and fight war because this is good for us. But obviously they have no involvement, their sons aren't going off to war. And I'm going to be painting the mouth to look all ornate, like it's kind of spouting all these golden lies. So it's a little bit politically charged, but I don't care. And then there's War, which is, because this is the rough draft I have of Conquest. Which is going to look very sculpted, very supermodel-y. There's going to be all this beautiful kind of Greco-Roman designs around the eyes and the mouth, and glamorizing war, essentially. And then right after that, I'm going to have War, which I somehow managed to lose. Oh, no, I haven't. Here we go. War's going to have an infection around the mouth, he's going to have an infected eye, and an eyeball's going to have come out. And I'm going to find a way to attach it to the lid so that I'll have a fake lid over that so that you'll be able to move the lid underneath and the eyeball will wiggle, which will be really fun. And then I'm going to go and say hello to my mum like that, so she'll love me forever for that. And then I wanted to have Death, the idea being that at that point Death is pretty and it's something that you're like, you've been through so much rubbish at that point, you're like, please give us a hug, I'm done with this, you know. So I wanted Death to be an appealing aspect of it. I wanted it to be kind of pretty and something that you'd be like, you know what, I've had it, this world isn't so great at the moment, I'm off. So that was kind of my idea behind the Four Horsemen, really. I don't like going with kind of, I like taking stereotypical things but then putting a bit of a twist on it because otherwise I find it a bit boring. Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to do with the Four Horsemen, really. And,
so where did you learn how to do all of the techniques that you've learned over the years?
Books, a lot of books. I was studying graphic design when I started YouTube. Actually, I got the Stan Winston book. Now, I bought that when I was in my first year. I've got the Stan Winston Effect. I also got one on the history of makeup. I love those books. I absolutely love those books. Read them back to front so many times. And I just taught myself, really. I'm sure that, you know, I can't make a T-Rex head. I don't have the equipment for that either, and I don't think I'd have the patience, because, yeah, I think I'd start with one thing and then I'd end up with something completely different. Because
do you have a couch in your house?
No, I don't.
Okay, do you have a chair with a cushion?
No, I don't actually. I tend to sit.
Well, then you cannot make a T-Rex. But if you had had those two things, you could have built him, because that's what he's made of.
Where would I put him? That's the problem.
You get into a friend.
I've got things around my house. You know, people come around to my house and I've got like these weird heads hanging around, and people look at me and they're like, "What are you taking?" I'm like, "Life. That's what I'm taking." No, I've already got dragons' heads and stuff, so I think a T-Rex is pushing the sanity line just a bit. People might start to question things, and I'm already getting enough questions, so I might not. All right.
Yeah, that's what I love about when you get people that are really on Halloween together. You have this kind of like, oh my god, that's so gross and awesome, and oh, I need that too. And everyone kind of like totally gets into the like gross morbid. Like at Maker Faire New York,
awesome. Gross is awesome. Halloween's the best time of year because you can do this stuff and it's okay.
Yeah, your thumbnail, by the way, for that video of like the ripped off nail, I can't even look at the thumbnail because it's so
I love that one.
Disgusting.
I
and
love
I showed
that
it
one.
to him, and he was just like, oh, gross at a moment, and it was just so bad. But it's amazing that you could do that.
It was so funny the amount of guys who actually did that tutorial just to get out of work. I had a guy, I had two stories. It was really funny. One guy who worked in a garage, he did that to get the day off work, and he managed it. And then a girl who tried to do that to get the day off school. Problem is, her teacher had watched my videos, so she knew it was fake. And I'm like, that is amazing. You got busted because your teacher watched my videos. That is awesome.
That's
quite
fantastic. That's like one of the best stories ever. I love that.
I was so pleased. I was like, I'm sorry, I feel very bad for you, but your teacher's epic. She watches my videos, so she can do no wrong.
There you go.
Yeah. You deserve it, mate. Your teacher's epic. You should not cheat on a teacher that's that cool. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And just in case anyone is just tuning in, I wanted to remind them that we're speaking with Claire. She is a YouTube beauty guru, and she does awesome, gory makeup, and she has some great Four Horsemen stuff coming out. So everyone needs to keep an eye out for her channel because you guys will love it. And definitely watch her DIY channel because it's got a lot of how-to stuff, and that's totally the make movement.
We can put those links, I think, in the box, right?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and put those links on the Google Plus community page later for anyone who wants to chime in. And then we have a question coming in. So someone named Chris on our Google Plus page has asked, what's your favorite makeup that you've done?
I hate every single piece of makeup I do once I finished it. That's just a fact. Anything that's older than a month, I don't want to see it. I don't ever. I mean, I like the alien look I did last. I was very, very pleased how the pictures came out. But to be honest, I kind of like the editing process more than the actual makeup because I hate wearing makeup. I never wear it on a daily basis. I just get it off my face. You know, and it has to be two things: no makeup or all out. I don't do middle grounds.
That's exactly the same for me. I only do makeup when it's disgusting or like it just.
Yeah, otherwise I just can't be bothered. It's just like, no, I'm not doing that. It's like, oh, what makeup do you wear every day? My skin. It's just the end.
It really is the best makeup overall. I mean, you could probably do with a few things, but
I could probably use a little bit of makeup, but
yeah, just stuff
I'm so
on
naturally beautiful.
Contour, tiny bit of lip tint.
There we go. Let's do that. We'll upload
And then
it.
we'll go for a beard mascara, you know, just in case you want something really multicolored. Just
My beard's already multicolored. I wish you know.
It'd be rave, you know, like a rave beard. Have it, you know, lighter yellow and then it goes into green.
I could pull it off. I could totally pull it off.
Yeah, Rainbow Beard.
Rainbow Beard.
That's your new nickname.
That's my new gamer name.
All right, well, thank you so much, Claire. And we're going to move on over to Joseph DeRose. Joseph, hi. Thank you for being with us.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
So I hear that you guys have a teaser video for us today.
Yeah, so this is, so we started off making a costume from the video game series Metroid. So this is in concept art of the character.
That's fantastic.
And yeah, so then we're going to play the video. And this is what we ended up with.
All right.
This is kind of the final project. But
Do a screen share here real quick.
Awesome.
let's see if this works.
Yeah.
All right.
Can you see our screen?
Yep.
Yep, there we go.
There it goes.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That was awesome.
Well done. That's so great how it came together just so perfectly with like just it looked exactly like the character when you were done.
Yeah.
And you actually did it. That's what I find most impressive.
Yeah.
You designed it, and you did it, and you wore it out, and that's what few people actually follow through with. So, awesome.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that process and about what techniques you used. I'd love to hear more about it.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, we initially made the arm cannon, which is the gun from the game, and the helmet over here, and then just for the rest of the costume, we just painted a shirt and pants. But then we came back to the idea for Maker Faire that year. Initially, it was a Halloween costume. But then revisiting it for Maker Faire, we kind of expanded it and added in 2 Arduinos, a sound shield, and over 100 LEDs to create a pretty electronic version of it. So then there's the arm cannon, which you have to log into. So it's,
Of course you do.
So there's 2 different buttons, and then just kind of a simple login system. Hopefully this works. So that's the access denied sound. And hopefully this works. Okay, well, got some bugs, but so
Too high security.
the cannon was made out of a piece of PVC with a cap, and then just painted it and glued on some styrofoam pieces on the sides with extruded polystyrene. And then the rest of the suit was mostly vacuum-formed styrene plastic. So we just kind of made a vacuum-formed cable out of some old corkboard stuff, and then used our oven to suck it down. Or to heat it up.
From pieces.
Yeah, so this is the chest plate section, and then we also made the legs, and then we embed LEDs with some green acrylic to give it kind of the nice glowy.
I don't know if you
light
can see on.
effect.
I don't know if you can see on camera, but the LEDs are throbbing a little bit.
Oh yeah,
to
yeah.
kind of little keep alive there.
Cool.
And then
That's
the shoulder balls were made out of a styrofoam ball, and then we kind of molded it a little bit and kind of dremeled the indentations, and then we put a silicon-based mold, and then poured some
Urethane.
and then kind of tore it off, and that looked like that. Spray painted it. So that it's a much harder plastic than the styrene, but and then the helmet was just a motorcycle helmet that we went into the motorcycle store and we're looking for a just cheap helmet to buy, and the clerk there asked us what kind of helmet we wanted and what kind of safety features and everything. We just kind of said the cheapest one you have. And kept asking like, well, do you want it to be rideable? What kind of things do you want to be able to protect yourself from? And then we said, we're building a costume. And he was like, oh, what costume are you building? And we're like, the Samus character from Metroid. And he was like, oh yeah, I know that. Here, take this one. So he gave us one, and then we took some electrical tubing, just spray
conduit,
painted,
yeah.
just conduit, put it on the sides, and then taped some decals on it, and yeah, spray painted it. That's about it.
That's fantastic. It looks so great.
How many hours do you think you put into that costume?
In all, I don't know. It took us about 8 months.
About 8 months, start
Yeah.
to finish, working evenings and weekends.
Mm-hmm. Just here and there.
Ouch.
So Joseph, who's the guy next to you? I don't think we even properly introduced
Oh
your
yeah, that's
cameraman.
my dad.
Hi.
So you got a pretty cool dad that allows you to do that in his garage, right?
Well, he's the one that wants me to do it, so yeah.
It's entirely selfish on my part. It's a great excuse.
That's awesome.
You're just getting some child labor there. That's awesome. And so you built your own vacuum form table. That's fantastic. What was involved in that?
How do you want to talk
I
about
can grab it. Yeah, it's just headboard and plywood.
Yeah, and then we just got a hole in it. So when you take the vacuum cleaner, we just roll a shop vac into our kitchen,
Yeah.
plug it into the side, and then
Yeah, it's just
The
pegboard with a couple of holes.
What do you use for a heating element?
oven. We just
You pop the sheets in the oven and then put them right on there?
We built a frame that we put the big sheets of styrene in, and then you put the mold on top of the pegboard, and then you just pull the sheet out and then put it on as fast as possible.
Cool.
There's a clip in the video. Yeah.
That's great. And some of our viewers could probably make that for themselves if they want to do something for Halloween.
Yeah, we did a make believe week and the Summers Maker Camp, and we actually showed you how to make a vacuum former out of a peanut butter jar to do really small things. And there's a ton of projects around it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And then, so what's up next with you guys? What are you working on now?
Well, in terms of maker projects, we did a flight simulator for the last year, but then personally I've been working on a feature-length stop-motion film. So it's kind of an action-adventure sci-fi story, and we've got a trailer here we can show.
That would be great. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's just a story I wrote a few years ago, and I've been expanding it over the last 2.5 years now. But hopefully in about a good 2 years, possibly, I'll have it finished. So this is the trailer for the latest part.
Name's Tom Freeman. I'm an officer of the Master Resistance.
How many of you are there?
Why don't you come and see?
Let's move! Go, go, go!
Wow.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I was
Wow.
watching your earlier videos in the series while I was doing my makeup today, and I loved it. It was so funny, and the production quality is really well done. It's great.
Well, I'm glad you liked it.
I don't have the patience for that, by the way. Absolutely
No,
not.
stop.
You kind of get into a repetitive motion, and at a certain point, you just lose track of time, and you kind of blank out, and then you realize you've been in there for about 4.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
30 frames.
That's insane.
I would not have the patience to do that.
Yeah.
I had to do a project like that for uni, and I think it only had to be 30 seconds, and after those 30 seconds, once I'd finally finished it, I was like, never again. Do not have the patience for this. Never again. I can just imagine the amount of patience that takes.
Yeah, so how did you get into the stop motion with Legos?
Well, I mean, my brother and I had always been really big fans of just building things with Legos and, making random cars and buildings and stuff like that. And then at a certain point, I kind of got into the idea of making movies with them. So I just, took my camera and filmed myself moving them around with my hands. And then I don't know where it was exactly after that, but probably a good few months later, I got the idea to start using the frame record button on my camera, which would just let me basically do very crude stop motion with, a couple frames a second. And then as time went on, I just kind of started refining the skill and just kind of messed around with different features and stuff like that on the camera, and it kind of became my life, pretty much.
It's taken over the rest of the house, basically.
Oh, yeah.
at this
Yeah, I've
point.
got my
Legos tend to do that.
taken over at any one point.
Oh my
That's
god.
awesome.
That's great. Oh, I love it. That's so fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing it. And I want to remind campers that are maybe just tuning in that we've got Joseph DeRose here with his fantastic costumes and stop motion Legos. And if any of you guys have your questions, go ahead and post them on the Google Plus community page, and we will go ahead and feed them on through to you guys live. We have a question coming in actually about makeup, and so that's coming in. But while we're still with you guys, I wanted to ask you just a little bit more about this stop motion. So I just wanted to see just how do you get the story? How do you kind of put it all together?
Well, the story was an idea I had a few years ago. I basically started with the beginning and the end, and I really didn't have a middle. So it was basically just a really rough, concept for what could happen in a movie. And over time, I just kind of wrote a little bit more here and there. And then we went on a trip to Fiji, I think, and I had a lot of time to, reflect on what was going to happen in the rest of the story. And that's kind of when I came up with the middle. And just, ever since then, when I get an idea, I'll just sit down with my laptop and start typing for a few hours and come up with something new.
Cool.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for showing us what you have. It's amazing, the quality of work that you guys have.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So, and then I want to jump on over to Dax. Hi, Dax. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, looks like you've got some really cool stuff lying around you. What do you have for us today?
I'm doing cardboard masks for you today, and to give you some background, I'm a puppeteer, so I make a lot of junk out of cardboard. But there's a bunch of masks behind me, just as demo, and then there's, for instance, this one, which I can hold up closer.
Wow.
That you would put on your head for whatever purpose. So I guess this purpose is having these are mostly done for theater, stage theater, and parade stuff. So they're quick and lightweight and kind of disposable. But I'm going to show you how to make a really cheap and easy one, or quick and easy one. This is the thing I hacked together earlier today. And how shall I do this? I think the most important things you need for working with cardboard is a really sharp knife. So this is my favorite, not to be brand specific, but this one you can change the blade really easily. So I'm going to pop out a used blade and pop in a new really sharp blade. The sharp blade, of course, as we all know, is safer. Probably second most important would be something to protect your table, so I've got cardboard, hacked up cardboard here.
Good idea.
And then hot glue and cardboard, and that's all you really need to make it. So I'm going to start with making the crown that goes around your head that holds it onto your face. So for that, it's like a strip. Let's call it 1 inch wide, and however long you need to get it around your head, so something about 3 feet. And you're going to measure it around your head like so. And then hold it in place while you glue it. I think one of the worst things ever in the world is having hot glue in your hair. So don't put it on your head immediately after gluing it. Do not do what I'm about to do. Okay, so you make this stupid little crown, and as we apply more cardboard, it'll become more robust. In order for this to stay on your head, if the mask gets rather heavy, you need to have a second strap, which is going to go behind your skull at the bottom. So that will just be a smaller piece of 1 inch wide cardboard. And that's going to be glued on the back like so. So that's going to be right here. And I would take the time to measure it, but you know, this is for demonstration purposes, so let's speed along. So that's going to go on like this. And stop me if I'm doing stuff too fast or far away from the camera.
No, go for it. It's great.
I can't quite tell what it all looks like yet.
You look great. I can see what you're doing pretty well.
Okay, so we've got this. This will now fit on my head, and now we construct a mask. So I'm just going to take a chunk of cardboard out of a box behind me, and I like to start with like shield shapes. They're kind of like faces, but really abstract faces. So I'll start with that, and I'm going to tell you many times probably that triangles and folds and 90 degrees and angles and stuff like that will make your mask more three-dimensional, because it's fairly easy to just get caught up in like gluing things to your mask, and then you end up with this really flat thing that just has like a front and no sides and a back or whatever. So if you take your shield and you fold it into a V, this is like the first step in making it three-dimensional. And what I would like to do is to glue it onto this, something like that. And the idea with this style of mask is that it's going to sit on my head and project off of my forehead up at an angle, so it's not like right in front of my face. So that's going to look like that. And to attach stuff to stuff, cardboard doesn't really like to be glued like end to end. It wants to be glued flat to flat. So what I usually do is I grab some scraps, fold the scraps, and then I position this thing, and I kind of just jam the scrap in there so that the scrap takes up the space, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah.
So I'm going to hold this into the position that I want it, and I've just jammed this this folded piece of scrap in there. And that scrap is actually what's going to glue the two pieces together, because if I tried to just, you know, smear some glue on the crown and smear some glue on the shield, they would never hold because there's not enough surface area. So this would be like the technique that you would do for doing all these features.
Hey Dax, can you keep working on that? I want to make sure that we get enough time to introduce everybody, and we'll jump back. Keep working on it. We want to keep looking at it.
Oh yeah, sure.
Cool. I want to introduce Matt Winston. He represents Stan Winston School, and Matt's your late father was Stan, correct?
That's right. That's my daddy. I was one of his creations.
That's awesome.
Probably the most horrifying.
I'm excited to have you on. I'm a big fan of the Stan Winston School. I actually that's my ongoing continuing education as I subscribe. If you're even interested in in sculpting and prop making and fabrication techniques. I mean, there's nothing else like what you guys offer. So why did you guys start the school? I'm just gonna.
You know, it was something that had never really been on my mind, certainly, or the family's mind, until we lost Dad. And you know, he was a very big presence in Hollywood. He was really a sort of Pied Piper for pushing the boundaries of character creation in movies. And when he passed, it left a kind of a big gap in the industry, and it also left a, you know, multiply that by 1,000,000, a gap in our family, and we just needed him back, and we were trying to figure out a cool way to do that, and we thought education would be ideal. He had talked often about when he slowed down from making movies, he wanted to become a lecturer and share all the treasures and share all the techniques, and he died before he got a chance to do that. So that's what spurred us on to get into education with Dad's name.
And Matt, you guys have been involved in probably the most major amount of horror flicks and creature effects over the last couple of years. Just in case nobody knows what Stan Winston is all about, what are some of the films that you've helped bring to life?
Sure. My father and his team of geniuses were responsible for all of the Terminators you've seen in all the Terminator films, for all the aliens and the Alien Queen from Aliens. The Predator came out of my father's shop. All of the dinosaurs from all the Jurassic Park films, all the full-sized animatronic puppets. The Iron Man suits from the recent Iron Man franchise. My father's company also designed all the lead characters in Avatar and provided three-dimensional references for Jim Cameron and the team at Weta to realize digitally. So those are the biggies.
A couple of indie films I heard in there.
Yeah, they all went straight to video. It's very sad.
Straight to video.
They were good. They were good. They'll get a chance.
I think the collection of people that you have actually putting on the lectures on your site, they're industry professionals. These guys, like my biggest, you know, my two people that I watch on your site is Don Lanning, I believe his name is, and Jordu Shell.
Yeah.
Great sculptors, and they've been a part of so many films, and what I've learned from them already is just, you know, helped me immensely.
Well, you know, it's interesting. When we got into this, a lot of people in the industry were saying, why on earth would you get into video tutorials? They said, you know, it's all on YouTube. I said, well, what we're providing, it's not just the technique. It's access to, in a very intimate way, 30 years of professional experience.
That can't be YouTube for that. I mean, like, what you do is good stuff. It's a lot better than the stuff that's on YouTube. Like you mentioned Terminator. The original Terminator, I will never, ever get to that standard. You know, you mentioned Terminator, and I'm like, oh no, I did Terminator. I'm going to hide now in shame. Because it will never be that good. Because precisely because you have had that experience. I can't offer my viewers that. You can.
Yeah, so. What we're doing really is connecting the top industry professionals with aspiring artists, using the internet as that medium. And it was never possible before now. We live in a very exciting age, all of us, to be able to, the world just went shoop, and we can all just meet like this. And it's pretty amazing. And the caliber of people who have joined up out of their regard for Dad and what he stood for is incredible. It's Academy Award winners and icons, and I feel lucky to be a part of hosting this big creative party. So it's been.
What's that big
exciting.
thing in the background, by the way?
This is the result of one of our lessons. Foam fabricate a T-Rex, where it's a three-parter. We have to get an eyeball in there, and we're going to put in a blink mechanism and move the tongue, and that's one of our lessons. But it's not all big. We do maquettes and masks. Actually, is now a good time for me to do a little slideshow? I'll try and be brief here. Hold on. Tell me if I'm screen sharing. Can you all see? Can you see my screen?
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
Okay, great. So I'm going to zip through this. One thing we offer, obviously, is effects tutorials. You can stream them, or they're on DVD as well. And those cover everything from traditional to digital design, ZBrush, Photoshop, pencil and paper, all manner of sculpting, from prosthetic sculpting to maquette sculpting to monster suit sculpting, prop sculpting, suit sculpting. We get into rapid prototyping, which is another form of sculpture and sculptural output. Painting, of course, is huge. Everything from props to masks to props. Again, all of these guys are the guys who their day job is to do it for the movies, and then they come on the weekends and do it for us. Animatronics is a big and fun part of what we do. Performance and puppetry, the payoff of all these crafts really is when you get to bring it to life, and we cover all of that, from suit performance to rod puppetry and marionetting and everything else. And we're also getting into live webinars, which is just what we're doing now, where there's homework and there's critique and everything else. And this is, for me, is the most exciting part of the company, is taking it the next level and really creating an intimate connection between the best professionals in the world and our students. We also do hands-on workshops as well, where we will arrange face-to-face monster building time, and those have been so much fun. For all ages, really. We even went to the University of Virginia and did a year-long course there, building massive 20-foot tall puppets like this big spider guy. And we also we really want the young people to know, you can't innovate unless you have a foundation of knowledge, and knowledge of the greats that came before you. So we've made it a point to interview during every lesson. We take about an hour to interview these craftsmen about their history in Hollywood, and we cover it all. So it's not just the lessons, it's also just sort of insights into their profession. We also do live industry events, and it's all spawned out of losing Dad, and look at all this wonderful creativity that's come out of it. He would be blown away. This is some of his work. We do behind-the-scenes features of Stan Winston's work and also work of other shops to show how it looks in films and what can be achieved. And it's really, the sky's the limit. It's been the most fun I've ever had in my life, and I'm happy to be able to share the world I grew up in with all of you through the Stan Winston School. I'm going to stop sharing now. And not literally, I'm just going to stop sharing my screen. I will continue to share. So that's what we're all about, and this is what you guys are all doing is exactly what we're doing, which is sharing art using this spectacular medium of connection. And how cool is it to be a young artist today? I mean,
yeah, it's amazing that the masters are actually letting go of their information, putting it out into the world.
I had to woo them for so long. I'm not kidding you. There's some who are like, yes, but there are many who I chased for 3 years before they would reveal their secrets.
Because they've worked hard for them, so.
Yeah, they have, and I understand, but the point I've made to them is guys, it's not your secrets, it's your talent that keeps you employed. It's not the technique. And some of them fell for that and shot and revealed their lessons, so their secrets. So
it's amazing.
But everyone's coming around. Yes, absolutely.
Cool.
And then, so actually, a lot of campers are really interested in seeing how that mask is coming along. So let's pop on back over and see what it looks like.
I kind of cut some holes for eyes, but I stopped working on it.
Dax got starstruck.
I know. Yeah, I want to watch. There's only one more step to this sort of thing, which was to cut something and stick it on the front, which I'll.
And people are wondering where you got all of your cardboard.
Well, there is I used to live next to a refrigerator appliance store, and now I get all of mine from a bike factory or in a bike shop that assembles bikes. You can also buy it fresh if you need it to be fresh from a packing store, but that's a little less upcycly.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you get permission from the bicycle store? Or is this like a 3 a.m. dumpster diving sort of thing?
Well, if you're looking for cardboard and you're dumpstering it, you're going to not get the best cardboard. So I just walk in the front door right about closing time when they've finished assembling all their bikes, and I'm like, "Hi, I make puppets. I would like some cardboard. Do you have anything that you're throwing out tonight?" And they're like, "Why don't you just poke around in the back there and take whatever you want?" Most everybody is really nice about it. I was turned down once because there's one refrigerator store that I guess they now package everything in plastic, and they would not give me any of their cardboard.
Nice.
Anyhow, to finish up with this mask, you would just take any sort of thing and slap it and glue it on the front to make it into whatever animal or shape or human that you want. But if you were to like just glue stuff like flat on like this, it doesn't get very interesting until you try to combine triangles and angles and whatnot. The things start to emerge off of there. That's that. But just taking that to a finished build would look something like this.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh man.
Wow.
Building and building
That's
and building,
beautiful.
building off of the whatever. I don't know if I can get my head in here with a ponytail on, but I'll try it.
I think we have to have a battle, you and I. Let's do this.
That's awesome.
Awesome.
So for a mask like this is actually very carefully counterweighted too, because it's got so much junk off the front.
Yeah.
That there's a lot of trial and error with like weighting it with wood in the back and all that sort of stuff, so that when you're performing with it, it doesn't fall off your head. Which I don't know if you can speak to too. Just building something is fun, but like getting it so that it's functional is a whole other whatever thing, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's all I got.
Cool. Thanks.
That's awesome. And then we actually had a question come in for Matt. They were wondering, Chris was wondering, how many monsters or dinosaurs have you gotten involved in? Like making those? How many have you?
Me personally, or the studio?
The studio, probably studio.
Probably the studio.
How many? Well, all of the dinosaurs from the Jurassic Park series. So those. I don't know how many there are. But I could wiki it right now. So if you can count the number of dinosaurs in Jurassic Park films, that's the exact number.
There's a mission for all of the campers out there. Is count exactly how many dinosaurs. Just watch the movies.
Watch the movie.
Have a little clicker.
There you go.
That's great. And let's see. We also had a question about the special effects makeup for Claire. Let's see, it was Brienne Brown was asking, she said, I love to do Dia de los Muertos makeup, and she was wondering if you had any tips for doing a good skull face.
I think I've already done a very basic tutorial on that, but the thing is I wanted to wait till the actual Day of the Dead for releasing that, because I know that anybody who's Mexican doesn't particularly appreciate something which is meant to be celebrating your dead relatives being lumped into Halloween. Which I can understand, so I'm like, fair enough, I'll do something. I think it's around November the 2nd or the 1st or something like that. But it's not appreciated for it to be lumped in with Halloween. So I might do a few of those. But I think, I can't remember the exact details, but I know that for Dia de los Muertos, they've got, there's two different kinds. I think some which are more scully and then some which are more decorative, but I could be wrong, so I don't want to say anything about that too much. But just trying to... For trying to make a skull pretty, you need to pay attention to the face that you're working on. You know, pay attention to how the bones work, the eye shape. If the eye slants a bit more one way, try and get the design to follow with it. If the jaws kind of is slightly lower than most jaws, then try and get a design that is meant to work with your face. It's not meant to look like something that's just been printed on a paper and bam on the face. No, it's got to work with your face. So. Doesn't matter who you're working on, even if you're working from one basic design, try and change it a little bit. Maybe the placement for one design doesn't look particularly good because let's say the person maybe has a very gaunt face, and putting that design just makes them look a bit more gaunt, or vice versa. Just try it. You've got to think pretty, but not too much. You're not trying to stick everything onto the face. It's not like nail art where you just like quick cram everything on. The focus should be the eyes, though. One of the things that people tend to do is they tend to try and shove too much on the cheeks, and that's a bad idea. You want the focus to be the eyes and then a little bit of detail around the mouth, but try and keep any of the kind of really ornate, detailed stuff around the eyes, because that's what you want people to look at. You don't want your head to look like a landing pad where some artist has just been like, right, let's doodle here. That's not the idea. Cool. It's got to be the eyes. That's what I would focus on.
That's a fantastic tip, and I just want to thank all of you again for being here today. I mean, I could sit and talk with you guys for hours more. I mean, I'm just having so much fun.
So let's do it.
Me too. Matt,
Come on,
we're gonna
anarchy.
come down and do a virtual field trip with you guys.
Better. We would have a.
You're gonna have to check my pockets because if I see anything about Predator, I'm gonna.
By the
Well,
way,
most of the things we have are too big for your pockets.
I will try.
This is how we protect ourselves. We build large.
Thank you all, everybody. Whatever you do, whatever you're doing, it's just amazing. And the fact you guys are sharing with makers in the world and inspiring is just awesome. And
yeah, thank you so much for showing us what you did today and for doing everything that you do. Just keep it up. I love watching
Keep it up.
Yeah. And to my campers out there, I just want to say keep posting what you have on Google+. I love going through all the pictures and giving you guys a little +1 for all your hard work. It's been so much fun this week checking out what you do. And next week we're going to be going to Alien Invasion, which is a haunted house, and I'm really excited for that. So we've got some really cool stuff planned for that. And we also have a 3D printing meetup on November 14th. So that one will be with the release of our 3D printing issue, which is coming out. It's going to be really great. So definitely check out that hangout on the 14th. And coming up at 6 o'clock, just in about, just over 10 minutes now, we're having the boards issue hangout. So stay tuned for that and definitely check it out where we talk about the release of the newest issue.
Matt?
I forgot to tell people where to find us.
Oh yes.
Yes, please do that.
StanWinstonSchool.com. Come check us out.
Yep.
Do it, campus.
Maker approved. I love that. Love that. All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a great Halloween.
Bye-bye.